is with me today? Who is with me? Who is in the house? I'm watching. I am watching. Who is here? Hello, Denise. Good to see you. And Sarah? Good to see you. Hello, hello. Hi, Kathy. And Liz and Susan. Hello, hello. Lucy. Hello, Pamela. And Jenny's here. She's moving today, you guys. She's moving. It's a lot. Hi, Jennifer and Diane. And Carla, and there's Yvonne. Hello, everyone. Rebecca. Making some quick notes for myself. And Joanne. And who else did I just see? And Tammy and Manon. And oh goodness, look at everybody just coming on in. Juanita, Kim in New Jersey, and Laura in Chicago. And Virgie, good to see you. You're in Pagosa Springs. I don't know where that is. Yes, it's okay to ask a sprint question for Friday's Q&A. You're liking my hair? You are such a sweetheart. Look at, we just really need to see the hairdresser, don't we? Oh my goodness. I'm fine with that. Tammy's in Orlando. Beautiful area, I've been there. And Catherine and Leslie. Look at all my ladies just coming on in. I'm so glad to see you. You're in Castle Rock. I know exactly where that is. You know, I did live in Boulder for a long time. Well, 3 years. Good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is something, isn't it? It's a something day. You know, I'm just so worn out. I don't know about you guys. I'm worn out with the news. I'm worn out with the controversy. I'm worn out with all of it. But that doesn't mean we need to retreat. It just means we need to shut things down and refresh because, you know, we can't be silent and we can't shrink back and pretend it doesn't exist. It exists. But at the same time, I'll tell you, for me, I just need a breath. I need a breath. And when I come here and I'm with you, I'm getting that breath, and this is refreshment to me. Your refreshment, my community, and I just appreciate you so much. I just want you to know that because honestly, it's just it's just a lot. Yeah, it wears you out. You know, watching all the conflict and everything is a conflict. Everything. Nobody can do anything right. And I just really believe that with all of our hearts and souls, we just need to be women of prayer. Can we agree to that? We need to be on our knees. This is a time of, this is something else. We need to be on our knees. Thank you, Catherine. I center you. You center me back, so I appreciate that. Yeah, we've, and I think today's message is going to be really hopeful for you. I hope. That's I saw this, and it's something that I said a while ago. Yeah, I'm getting a little grief on my Facebook page because my empathetic heart is first thinking about why would this be happening in the first place? And, you know, and I've said before, and I will say again, that rioting is the language of the unheard. That's what Martin Luther King says. That doesn't mean I condone it. You know, that doesn't mean that I don't know that there's groups behind it and all of that. It just means that there is a deep root here. Can we just agree to that? And my mother's heart goes out to the mothers that are out there the mothers, and my heart is just full of praying for all these women. There's a lot to pray for. So let's just be in agreement that we are praying our little hearts out. We are praying, we are believing in God, and we are so grateful that He hears our prayers. He hears our prayers. And I'm not going to stop praying. I know you're not going to stop praying, but I'm just going to say today, I am weary, you know, and I get to say that from my white woman privilege too. You know, I don't have sons out in the streets and I'm not worrying about them. I don't have, you know, I have a completely different perspective. Don't we all? But my perspective is also one of how can I love more? How can I give more? How can I be of service? So I come here and I know that I've got my ladies here, and all I can say to you is I sure as heck don't have any answers, but what I do know is that love covers a multitude of sins. The Bible tells us that. Love covers everything. And we need each other, and we need to be holding fast to prayer and love. That's what I know. That's it. That's the sum total of what I know. So anyway, so today I wanted to talk to you because, you know, I was thinking about everything. And I want to talk about David and Goliath, because to me, what we're facing right now in this country, in this community, in this world, you know, is that we have a David and a Goliath. And David was the one who took out that great big huge giant. Do you remember that? And here's a quote that I have. Do you remember this from this summer? If God put Goliath in front of you, He must believe there's a David inside of you. Do you remember that? And I think right now, today, that is critical mass. Because in front of us, in every single kind of a way, we've got some great big huge Goliaths in front of us, and they're looking pretty scary. You know, you think about who Goliath was. You know, he was a big Philistine. He was a warrior. And he came to this battle and he was ready to take out this little puny kid. He was David, who was the only one who had the guts to stand up to him. I want to talk about that today because I've got some things that I've been thinking about, and they all kind of topple on top of each other. And I hope you find this helpful. But that's not our quote today. Our quote of the week is something that I think too is going to stir the pot a little bit inside, I hope. And here's our quote of the week. If an egg is broken from an outside force, life ends. If an egg is broken from an inside force, life begins, because great things always start from the inside. Think about that. That is just so beautiful, isn't it? What a wonderful thing that life begins from the outside. And when we watch a chicken hatch, haven't you all had that experience of having, you know, a third grader in the house and having an incubator or whatever? When I was homeschooling my kids, we had an incubator and we watched chickens hatch. It was amazing. And, you know, the kids wanted to help those little baby chicks. But it's the struggle of getting out of that shell, and same with a butterfly, getting out of that cocoon. The struggle is part of the growth. The struggle is part of the growth, and this is what we need. This is the impetus that we need to understand that it's okay to embrace that struggle, to embrace that hardness. Instead of shrinking away, is just walk up to it, you know? Embrace it and say, okay, let's do this. We have that inside of us. And I believe with all of my heart that we underestimate the strength that we have inside. I believe with all of my heart that the strength that we have inside is pushed off for whatever reason. We just don't believe we have it. We don't believe we have that tenacity. We don't believe we have that backbone. We don't believe we have the wherewithal or anything. We very easily give up on ourselves. And one of the things that you've heard me say over and over again is, yes, it's not going to be a straight line all the way to the goal. But let me just share with you that if you stay with it, you will get to the place you're trying to go. I believe that. I know that. I've seen that. The women I've coached have done it. It happens. So what we're talking about today is just basically not quitting on yourself, even when the overwhelm is there, even when you've got a Goliath staring you down, even when it's way bigger than what you think you can do. Talking about that. So today, I want to remind you, and I sent a bunch of these out yesterday. We have brand new ones that have just come in, thankfully, because we just ran out. But these mindful mugs teach us how to be mindful. You know, have a cup of bone broth before a meal and think about your Target trifecta plate and think about, you know, not shoveling the food in and eating too fast. All the things that we teach. And if you order $200 worth of supplements, you get that mindful mug sent to you absolutely free. And you know what else I do? I send you this little card that says thank you for being such a wonderful Saving Dinner supporter. I don't take any of you for granted. Every single one of you are important to me. Every single one of you, I'm thankful for, and I do pray for, by the way. We also have our Leptofix. Leptofix is the free supplement that you get, not the free supplement, the ships free supplement. If you order Leptofix, and I don't care whatever else you order, big fat order, if you've got Leptofix in the cart and you put ships free in the little promo window, it will ship free. The shipping's on us. I don't care what's in there. We sent out a box yesterday that was as big as my desk of all kinds of stuff. And that woman, smartly, she not only got a mindful mug, but she got free shipping. And that was an expensive box to ship, and I was happy to do it. Happy to do it. So just remember that. Ships free. Put Leptofix in your cart. This stuff is amazing. This is the thing that helps to fix your leptin, which breaks when you go on a diet. You know, isn't that just so not great? Well, we know how to fix it. And that's what this formula does. It's really pretty intense. It's amazing stuff. Friday is our Q&A. So if you want a question answered, send it into support@savingdinner.com. And in that subject line, put question for Leanna on Friday. It will get to me and I will answer it right here. Your nutrition, your cooking questions. We had such good questions last time. And I love that. I love when you do that. And by the way, the other thing is too, if you spend $100 and you want the mindful mug, you can get that for $5. It's available to you as well. That's what we have. And don't forget, on Monday, we start the sprint. And if you're not a part of that, become a part of it. Go to savingdinner.com. It's right there. Sign up for the sprint. And if you're having issues with the sign up, do send us an email to support@savingdinner.com. Some people have been having issues with it. I don't know what's going on. Where are the tech geniuses in my life, right? Can you fix it, somebody, for me, you know? Tech genius. I need a tech genius. All right, so let's just talk a minute, okay? Let's talk a minute about being a little overwhelmed, a little weary, a little tired of everything. It does divert us, doesn't it? You know, here, pandemic, racial injustice, all kinds of oppression and awful things happening. But here we are anyway, and we have days that we need to get through. What I want to steer the boat to, besides the fact that we all need to be praying and we all need to be on our knees and just looking for guidance on all of this stuff, you know, how do we handle all of this, is we need to be looking at ourselves. What is it that we are able to do instead of just, you know, being trolls on the internet and taking things down? What can we do? And when I'm talking about what we can do, we also need to be looking at ourselves. We need to be looking at our self-care. We need to be looking at getting beyond sourdough starter and baking bread. Amen. You know, 3 months ago, really 3 months ago, when this whole pandemic started, it might have been a cool thing, but now everybody's left with a little weight gain, aren't they? A little weight gain, a little bit of inflammation here and there, and Maybe, I mean, I was drinking wine every night. I'm not anymore, but I was. And we all had these excuses and these reasons to kind of fall back onto old habits that we had. And I get that. Old habits, old comforts that we had. And now here we are with our Goliaths in front of us. This 6'9" Philistine in all the gear, you know, that's inflammation. Let's look at that. Let's just look at that and say, okay, there's inflammation. The weight gain is real. And we got to look at that. And we got to get beyond that. And we got to start, we've got to start confronting that we have lives to live, right? We have lives to live that are not contingent on what's going on in the world, but they're contingent on how we show up in the world. And we can't be effective. We can't be effective in our own families, let alone our own community, if we're feeling like crap and sitting on the couch. It's our health. That is the absolute bedrock, foundational thing that we all have to get a grip on. And I'm talking to myself too. I am talking to you. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to all of us. There's tons of things out there to become overwhelmed with. But when we bring our eyes inward and we look at what is it that we can do, it starts to get down into little granular terms, doesn't it? Makes it a little bit easier. So let's take a look at all of this. Let's just take a look at where we are. We are in a place where we're looking at something that's way bigger than we are, way bigger. I mean, this is a giant in front of us, right? Whether you're talking about pandemics, whether you're talking about racism, whether you're talking about this pattern of trying to get out of the weight loss cycle, getting off of the carousel of crazy and away from the diet culture. It's all the same thing. Well, it's not all the same thing, but it's all the same feeling of overwhelm, isn't it? We get overwhelmed by the enormity of like, oh gosh, here we go again. I've got to do this again. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that you have everything that you need within your toolbox to pull out your slingshot and to slay that Goliath just like David did. And let's take a look at what he did, you know. He was courageous. He confronted it. He went in front of it even though it was as big as it was. Even though he had his weapons and he had everything. And he was a good shot. You know why he was a good shot? Because he knew his life depended on it. That's what we need to be about. We need to understand that our lives depend on us doing something for ourselves so that we can keep showing up in our lives. We cannot show up in our lives if we're just sitting on the couch eating eating crap, drinking wine, and watching Netflix. That's not an effective strategy. You know, that's pandemic strategy maybe, but right now where we are, we have to go beyond all of that. And we need to be bigger than our fears. You know that Goliath? We've got the tool for that. We know what to do and we know how to take aim. It's just a matter of pulling that slingshot, getting that rock ready and going right between the eyes. We know how to do it. We've been trained. We have the information. We have the weapon. We have everything. But do we have the courage? That's what I want to talk to you about. Because you see, the size of Goliath doesn't matter because you've got what you need. Everything you need is inside of you. And the things that you need to maybe gather up and to have all available to you, all of them. It's just a matter of taking aim and being courageous enough to do the act. And I will say one other thing is, you know, the lesson here for us is to use what we have, right? Use what we have. Inside of you is a voice. You need to use it. Inside of you is creativity and imagination. Inside of you is the ability to problem solve. And inside of you is tenacity. You remember our quote a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, is that you want to have a backbone where your backbone ought to be, not a wishbone. We're not going to wish our way into our ideal weight or getting rid of, inflammation or any of that. We can't wish it away. There needs to be action, and this is the whole thing. Regardless of the size of this whole thing, David walked up and took out Goliath. He was brave, he had a weapon, and he had the tenacity and the resiliency to get out there and do it. He was courageous. He knew what needed to be done, and he did it. And he used what he had. He didn't go out and just talk to everybody around him and say, oh my gosh, I need another weapon. He used his slingshot because he knew that weapon. He knew it. It was something that he had. And that's why I always say to you, you've got everything that you need inside of you, because you do. God's not going to put you on this earth without any kind of resources. And the things that you need are going to come to you if you just look for them. That's the other thing. You've got to believe that it's possible. That's what put David out on that whole field in front of Goliath. He believed. There was no way on God's green earth that he was going to shrink back from this. He wasn't walking into it and saying, oh no, he's just too big, or look at all the weapons that he has. No. He took out what he had the courage to do it, and he stayed the course. That's what he did. There's the lesson. That's for us. We need to be like him. He didn't underestimate himself. He knew that he could hit the target. He knew what he had to do. He knew he was protecting his people. He knew he was protecting himself. And he knew that he could do this. He knew. And what am I saying to you? You can do this. Everything you need is inside of you. And what you don't have, you can get. That's a promise. I'm not just sitting here blowing a bunch of hot air up your eyeballs. I mean this with all of my heart. Why would God send you into a fight unequipped? He didn't do it for David. He's not going to do it to you. So our fight, whatever our fight is, whether it's something that's enormous that's in our lives that just seems overwhelming, believe that you're the David in this fight. Believe it. Look for the resources. Be like Mr. Rogers. Look for the helpers. Be like David and believe as every step you take that you've got it in you to hit it right on target. This is what he did. It was simple, it was effective, and it was a weapon that hit right where it needed to hit. And we have that too, We have that too. You can expect to hit the target, we do this with the sprint, for heaven's sakes, to get rid of the inflammation. We do this every single time. And you can expect to hit the target. Just follow the course. Read the information. Just do it. We had here in Transylvania County, yes, I live in Transylvania County, there was a protest here last night. And people all showed up on the lawn, all appropriately distancing on the courthouse lawn, and they were all together to say that they believed that this was not, what was happening wasn't good, right? It was Black Lives Matter, all of, the whole bit. And you know what impressed me about the whole thing? Was it was taking the stand, was walking out and going beyond what normally people around here would do, because this is a very quiet, a little sleepy community. But they walked into something that was bigger than they were and said, this is what needs to happen. We need to be supportive. We need to be helping our brother and sister out, because that's what our call is as human beings, to love one another. And that's exactly what David did when he walked up to Goliath. He did it for his people. He walked up to them walked up to something that was much bigger than him, and he took it out. We have the ability to do that with all of the Goliaths in our lives. We just have to believe it. We have to use the proper weapons, and we have to not shrink back, but go forward. If God put Goliath in front of you, he must believe there's a David inside of you. I believe that. A simple, effective weapon is better than anything else. And I'm telling you, the knees of all you mothers out there praying is a simple, effective weapon. We need to be on our knees, and we also need to be taking care of ourselves. This is our call, and this is where we need to be. Thanks for being with me today. I will be here tomorrow again at 1 o'clock. Don't forget about everything that we've got going on, and thank you again for supporting Saving Dinner and for being a part of my life, for buying your supplements with us, and for supporting us with dinner answers. Yeah, today the new menus came out. That was fantastic. And don't forget, we have pandemic pricing. It's $7 a month. Go check it out on savingdinner.com. Be a David. You've got it in you. You're strong, you're capable, and you're a good shot. I know that. Peace out. Thanks for joining me today.